is by Manuel Garand. It's an excellent book. It's very pretty. And yeah, let's get right into it. So this is Puzzle 9, the laboratory. There's a limit to what safety goggles can protect you from. So we have Ashton. He was in the same room as Estella. He was sitting in a chair. Blaine. He was in the storage room. Carla. She was beside a table. She was north of Blaine. Delilah. She was in the office. Estella. She was in the first column. Frank. He was beside a TV. Galen. He was beside a shelf. And Vaughn, the victim, he was in the last remaining square, alone with the murderer. Okay, so let's start always with our easiest possible solve. We do this with Sudoku as well, and other logic puzzles, so Carla was north of Blaine, and Blaine was in the storage room. So Carla has to be here in this upper 3 rows. She could technically... No, she couldn't be in the storage room because she's beside a table and these are shelves, so she has to be on these levels. So Carla is beside a table. And actually, I'm gonna do something which is cross out all of the places that people can't be. So let me cross out the TVs, the shelves, and the tables because obviously our players can't be on there. So with bigger games like this and more players, I'm immediately going to cross out where they can't be, and this will help us visually just a lot. So Carla has to be beside a table. She could be here, 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 or here. We're not sure yet. Ashton. He was in the same room as Estelle, and Estelle was in the first column. So Estelle either has to be in the office or experimentation. So I'm gonna put Estelle here and Estelle there, just as a placeholder. And Delilah, she was in the office. Okay, so this is our office. Estelle could either be here in the office or in the experimentation room, because she has to be in the first column. Well, Delilah is in the office. So with that logic, technically Estelle, Ashton, and Delilah could all be in the office, but I'm just gonna bank that that's not true. And actually they couldn't, because if Estelle is in this row, then if Estelle was right here in the office, no one could be here. And Ashton couldn't be there because he's in the only chair, and him and Estelle can't be in the same row. So we know Estelle is definitely here. X's going down. Now let's do our X's going across. Ashton, he was in the same room as Estelle, and he was in a chair. So Ashton has to be here. Because a reminder, this is the chair. Or he could be there. We're not quite sure yet. Either way, nobody else could be in that column. So I am gonna put X's going all the way down, which is good. Just from a logic stance. Okay, so we have that nicely kind of figured out for now. Blaine, he was in the storage room. So this is our storage room. There's only one spot left for him. So I'm gonna go down. And across. And that solves where Ashton is as well. Perfect. Ashton is right there. And Delilah, she was in the office. There's only one space left for her. Perfect. And so we have Ashton, Blaine, Delilah, and Estella, sorry. Let's see. Okay. Carla, she was beside a table, and she was north of Blaine. Oh, let's finish here. We have Ashton there, so let's put our X's. So Carla can only be here or here. We're unsure yet, so I'm just gonna put her name like that for now, just as a placeholder. I like to do that when there's kind of only 2 spots left. So Frank, he was beside a TV. Well, he could only be here now. We're still not sure. And Galen, he was beside a shelf. So Galen could be here or there. So we have Galen, Frank, and Carla, and the victim, Vaughn. So she was north of Blaine, he was beside a TV. Frank has to be... Okay, so Frank could be here, or here, or there. Galen could be here, or here. And Carla could be there, or there. Okay. I feel like we are missing something. Oh, Carla was beside a table. So this is the table. So Carla has to be right here because this is not beside the table. So sometimes it's very simple and you just have to go back and reread the clues, and that is how you will solve it because the answer is always there. So we have Carla locked in. Now let's reassess Frank and Kaylin. So Frank is beside a TV, so he has to be there or there. But Kaylin is beside a shelf, and this is the only shelf left right here. So Kaylin has to be there. So there's his name. I'm gonna go up, and that means Frank is beside a TV. So his only option is to be right here, which is perfect. Which means there's only one spot left for Vaughn, the victim. And he is in the data analysis room with Frank. So the unaliver is Frank. So awesome. That was, again, a kind of a challenging one that is always fun to solve. I think we should do one more and see if it's any more challenging as well. So we have Aunt Ellen's house. Tensions always flare up at a family gathering. So it looks like we have Albert. He was beside a shelf. We have Brock. He was beside a bed. We have Carolina. She was beside the plant. We have Desiree. She was alone in the main bedroom. We have Ellen. She was sitting in a chair. We have Farouk. He was in front of a window. We have Grayson. He was in a corner of his room. And we have Victor, the victim. He was in the last remaining square, alone with the unaliver. Now let's read the hint. It said there was exactly one person on a bed. And a little note. Now that the cases are getting trickier, sometimes there will be general clues that you'll need to consider along with the suspect clues. Interesting, so we will take that into account. But I see one right away that we can do, and it is Carolina. She was beside the plant. The plant is right here. So this was her. I have this top part not just a little cut off because there's no windows, so you guys don't need to see it. So I'd rather you see the bottom here. So that is where Carolina is. So I'm gonna X these out. And okay. So Albert, he was beside a shelf. I'm gonna go through and X out all of these shelves and tables and TVs, not the beds. So I'll be careful not to do So I went ahead and marked everything off that a player cannot be on. But be careful doing this, because if you accidentally mark something with an X and it's not supposed to be, you will essentially mess up the whole game and have to start over. So let's say who was alone? Desiree, she was alone in the main bedroom. And Farouk, he was in front of a window. Well, if Desiree was alone in the main bedroom, Farouk cannot be at these windows. But he can be at this window right here. So, this is Farouk's spot. Awesome, awesome. So, that is Farouk's spot. And Grayson. Grayson was in a corner of his room. Could be there, not sure. Okay, Albert, he was beside a shelf. Remember, he can't be in the main bedroom, which is where the shelf is. There's no spots left in the living room. The only shelf is right here that's left. So Albert has to be here. It's the only spot for him. So that helped us a lot. So Albert is not the unaliver, because there's no room left for him there. So let's do okay, look at this. So Brock, he was beside a bed. Remember, he can't be in the main bedroom because Desiree is alone. So the only beds left are here. Let's go like this. Are here and here. So if he was beside the bed, he could be here, here, or here. We're not sure yet. So I'll leave that open-ended. So we have Farouk, Carolina, Albert. Let's do so Ellen, she was sitting in a chair. So there's 4 chairs, only 2 left. These have been eliminated. So Ellen has to be here or here, which means I'm gonna put an X in this whole row. Because if Ellen's here or here, either way, we cross out this row. So that's where the logic gets a bit tricky, but when you see it, you'll see it, it's hard to ignore. So we know what row Ellen is in, which is good. She can be in either. Let's see. Grayson. Brock, he was beside a bed. Albert, we have Albert. Desiree, we're not sure. Grayson, he was in a corner. Grayson could be here, he could be here, or here, or here. We are not sure. Oh, there was exactly one person on a bed. So I'm gonna bet that that is Desiree, because this is the only last bed spot, and if if Brock was here, nobody else could be on that bed or this bed. Yeah. So there's only one spot left to be on the bed. So this has to be, by logic, Desiree. Look at that. Which, by logic, crosses out Ellen. I mean, I kind of figure that 3 players wouldn't be in the bedroom or in the living room or any room together, but you never know, so Ellen has to be here. So I'm gonna do the X's. Look at that. And which means Brock has to be here. Brock. Yep. So we have Albert, Brock, Carolina, Desiree, Ellen, Farouk, and Grayson. He was in the corner. And the only corner spot left is in the bathroom. So I'm gonna go like that. Which means the last remaining square is for Victor, the victim. And he is in the guest room with Brock. Look at that, you guys. We solved it. Awesome. So that was definitely getting a bit more challenging, but if you just slow down and read it, it'll be great. There's nothing too complicated, luckily. I hope you all enjoyed this. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like, comment if you guys like these videos. I appreciate it so much. And thank you so much for watching. I will see everybody next time soon. Bye.